Hello and welcome back to Football Manager 2020. We're picking up approximately where we left off last time in the Amazulu save, although things may look slightly different because I managed to lose the Venezuela game we recorded last time. So I had to replay it. We still ended up with a tie, although the match was frankly much better. It was a 2-2 draw instead of a 0-0. And a lot of the youth that I was able to give their first caps just didn't get to play because I went down 2-1 pretty early in the match and spent most of the time trying to claw my way back to 2-2 to hopefully not screw up my results going forwards. So fortunately I pulled off the draw. So we're in the same place we were, but you might notice in this Martinique game coming up some of the same people getting their first cap, because I'm hoping to get some of the youth on the pitch. I really wanted to use this window to develop some of the young players. And unfortunately, my loss of the previous match didn't allow me to do that. Otherwise, we also just have a match coming up with Chippa United. That should be fairly easy for Amazulu. So overall, this shouldn't be a super stressful match. It's mostly just going to be or super stressful day. It's mostly just going to be getting through a couple of these matches I have coming up that aren't super interesting, and hopefully nothing going wrong. Because the dullest matches on paper can become very interesting when you take an injury early or get like 5 penalties or something. Had a match earlier today that I was playing on my personal save where the referee just sucked and gave my team 5 yellow cards to none for the opposition. And it's not me being bitter saying he sucked. He came out with a 3.7 rating, which I didn't even know Premier League referees could go that low. But apparently, this game does simulate the Premier League accurately. Of course, I won't have to deal with that because I managed to do exactly the same thing I did in this save. Because what happens is I click to leave, and then I think, oh no, I wanted to check one more thing before I leave the save. See, do you want to save before you leave? Yes, no, cancel. And click no, intending to not quit the game. And instead I just don't save. So, I'm not going to have to pay the price of that terrible refereeing, but the annoying thing is I had drawn Arsenal in the match, so probably going to have to replay that, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull that off twice, given that they're top of the league right now. And I'm playing slightly modified 2019 United. That looks pretty good for right now. We'll probably tweak it closer. I want to get these guys training at least. Oh, of course. Need to go to Canada to get the right team. As I mentioned before, even though I don't intend to keep exactly this lineup going forward for the actual match, it's good to train some of these guys. Like, it's nice to get O'Connor some training at wing, even though he's pretty awful as a winger, and I don't really want to play him there. I mean, he's 2 stars, but he's fairly uncomfortable too. So I don't really want to have him in unless we're already well up in the match. But getting a couple of days of training as a winger, as the starting winger, will probably be good. They want me to give Mujkic 45 minutes. That's probably fine. Don't really care what that weather report says. It always changes before the actual match, so no point in worrying about the fact that it says it's going to be stupid hot again. Although, granted, less hot than it was in Venezuela. Even for my second match where I had to replay it, it was still like 38 degrees. Nothing that really requires my input here. It's mostly just coaches telling me to think people are developing well or not. I go through that when I'm playing privately. In a recording, it's not that interesting for me to read it all, so I usually just skim through it and trust my coaches. The under 20s are looking pretty battered. Oh, and great. Sanago's broken. I don't have the depth to take breaks, take many injured players, even though he's one that I don't usually start. He's nice to have on the bench, and so I'm going to have to go a couple of weeks without that. Fortunately, we have the stupid long gap after the international break, so he should be mostly recovered by the time we start running games. So I'm hoping it won't be an issue. We got lucky. It's pulled it down just below the dangerous level for weather, so it's 29 degrees and breezy. That's going to make it harder for me to bring the youth on because the balls are going to be going everywhere anyway with that breeze. Martinique are actually having a pretty good run of form. I think we're probably going to break that because we should be vastly better than them. Yeah, we'll pull Nelson back. We're ahead of O'Connor training. Make that a little better. Get Emrani in to start. This looks pretty good. I have to remember to pull Mujkic at halftime. But we got a pretty good team out there. Harbor's a little weak. Haber's a little weak, but I want to get him reps. Same with Kemp, although he's really bad. And then Mujkic isn't quite up to the level. Everyone else is at least okay. So we've got a decent squad here. This is primarily to train the youngsters. I don't really care if we beat Martinique. I mean, I always want to win, but this isn't a must-win or anything. I'm pretty fine with whatever the result is. I kind of just want to get some of the youth some more practice. You can see we don't have most of our big names for this camp. We have Davies and David, a couple others, but it's a lot of getting the next generation ready. Not sure what happened there with David just standing there kind of watching it go past him. That's a bad sign for how his match is going to shape out if he's playing that badly. Imrani hits the crossbar there. He's not as bad a striker as he seems to look in a lot of these matches we have him in. Part of the problem is he's standing next to Jonathan David, who's going to make anyone look pretty bad. Don Fascio did a good job of keeping that in. And Emrani misses an absolute sitter right after I was talking him up. Apparently Jaden Nelson's only supposed to be in for 45 minutes too. I didn't notice his coach saying anything about that. But that's fine, we can do that. It probably was in that email and I just missed it because I was talking and I saw Mujkic and stopped looking. Now that I've gotten Kenda a little established, I'm trying to have a little less acrimonious relationship with the club coaches because I used to just bully them and play the Canadians hard to advance the club, or the country. But now that we're a solid enough team that we can get decent matchups and results even with our backup players, I'm more willing to cooperate. It's not 100%. If it's a tournament match or so, I'll likely ignore them if I need to. But something like this, where it's a friendly, and it's not really going to affect our global standing, however we play out, I'm fine with taking them off at the half. Give the coach what they want. I'll probably take Davies off at the half too, because he's still playing injured. Although if we're not scoring, which we so far haven't been, I might need to keep him in to just try to make something happen. I haven't seen him touch the ball so far today, but he's got to be at least pulling defenders. Because you're an idiot if you leave Alphonso Davis unmarked. I mean, he's not 100%, and I'm sure the Martinique coach saw the injury report from the previous match, but he's well enough to be on the pitch, which means he's a threat, and they should be taking that serious. But I'm looking, it looks like he's sitting pretty open in the field, or in the pitch there. Of course, the ball's not getting anywhere near him either. We've been controlling possession pretty well, but Martinique are just parking the bus. Here's Davis getting to touch the ball for a bit. And yeah, they're covering him immediately. They know how dangerous he is. Their goaltender's trying to keep the ball away from Davies. That's why it's down to the right so much. Or down to left. And Jaden Nelson gets us our goal that we needed, assisted by Owusu off that set piece. So that's good. I feel a lot better subbing people off now because Martinique have not posed a threat to actually score on us, and so a 1-goal lead should be plenty to get us to win. Now I need to start looking at keeping coaches happy and developing young players. Especially if Nelson could have scored another one there. I've been hitting the post so much lately. Looks like David does not trust Amrani today. Which is strange because he's having an alright game. Like, he's not being a world beater, but he's got a 6.8 or 6.7 now, but still, that's an average performance. And there's David immediately scoring for us. So yeah, we're up 2 before the half. Assisted by Owusu again. Davies' stamina is actually holding up pretty good despite him being injured. I think I'm going to try to leave him on until 60. I'm definitely pulling the two that their coaches want off the pitch. Amrani finally scored to make up for me criticizing him so much, assisted by Nelson. It's nice to see our regens getting some good work in. Because Amrani's one of the first truly fictitious players to make my team. Let's do it the proper way. Get Much gets off for Arja. Are just looking pretty tired after that last match, but still. And then we'll get Nelson off. Even though he's having a great match for O'Connor. Keep some club coaches happy. We've got a 3-goal lead. It's not like I need. This is going to get O'Connor time playing at that wing piece where I didn't love him. But we've got Arja next to him to try to hold things together, although Arja's only 2.5. I've got him as a deep-lying playmaker, so he should be able to pick up some of the stuff that O'Connor misses. Not the best players to have in next to each other, but I'm trying to develop them, and Martinique haven't proven to be much of a threat. I don't see them breaking through for 3 goals against us. In fact, this match feels like some of the early days of my Canada save, where we were just bullying Canadian, various Caribbean teams that, were 150th, 200th in the world, and we'd go out and run up 9 against them. Oh no. Jonathan David went down injured right when I went into the screen to change players. So we'll get him off there, and I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at by his coach for this. We'll put Tabla in there, even though he's terrible as a striker. I don't really have a good backup striker on the bench. Yeah, I just made this sub. Tabla is pretty awful as a striker, but he's what we got. We're just going to have to ride it out. We're probably not scoring anymore with a 2-star striker, but Amrani might come in clutch and get us one more. That's bad that I managed to break both the big 2 for Canada over 1. International break. Now that Estakia is retired, there are 2-star players, and I broke both of them this international window. I'm going to be yelled at by some club coaches. I wasn't really doing anything unreasonable with them. I was just expecting them to play in really hot weather. And that's the damage it does. People's stamina goes down faster, and Amramani did come through at the goal, assisted by Bonfascio. But like I was saying, people's stamina runs down faster, and to get injured more when it's hot, pitch condition plays into it. But we've been on great pitches, so it's just the heat. 29 is just below the threshold where it's really an issue, which is how I've been able to keep Davies in for so long. But it does add up. And then there's just always the random injury chances. Absolutely everyone's playing great right now. So I'm going to take Davies off, try to get... Oh, I don't really have anyone to put in for him. It's his wingback. I think my best bet is going to be take him off for Shom. Or not Shom, sorry, Hattrell. I don't want to risk him getting hurt more, so even though this is a rough substitution, like Hattrell's not really suited to play here at all. I don't have anyone on the bench that is, and he's probably the best I'm going to do. What I can do is I can switch him and Kemp. Put Kemp out there. Kemp's pretty good as a defensive fullback, and that'll get Hattrell decent in there. Unfortunately, their boat only got capable of putting in 2-star performances, which is why they're so bad that the coaches didn't even recommend that as a change. But keeps everyone playing a position they're somewhat comfortable with, and it keeps me from breaking both of my stars completely. Now for this last change. Kemp's not playing great, but I'm going to keep him in because he's fairly fresh and they've got not many other people that can go out to the wing there. So we're going to take Zachary Broat-Goulart off for Justifov. It's another not like for like change, which I don't love doing, but I do want to make some subs at this point. Yeah, that's no better. Just gonna have to deal with him being bad. I've got absolutely no one that can play out there. I've burned through all the wings I took on camp. It's only 10 minutes. Get him to run his legs out a bit. Owusu just with a perfect set piece goal right there. I swear, if Owusu isn't the player of the match for this match, I'm going to be annoyed. Doesn't really matter because it's a friendly and it's international, so that's 2 reasons why I won't be able to compliment him for it and boost his morale, but he deserves player of the match after this. He's assisted a bunch of goals. Scored one himself. Looks like Martinique finally got a shot, but it didn't amount to much. And yeah, clean sheet to end things off. We didn't expect Martinique were actually going to do well against us. And we did get O'Connor a debut, so we don't get as many first caps as we had gotten originally, but we got some in there. I got one last game, and then we got this one. So we are getting the new players some experience, which is all I wanted out of this. I'm disappointed I broke Jonathan David, but hopefully it's not too serious and he'll be back in time for the next camp. If not, we'll get a chance to try out some other strikers that never get looked at because I'm always picking Jonathan David. Hamstring strain, those are often not serious. It's the 4th time I've heard him, though. He's starting to get weak. And Davies got hurt 4 times, too. He's just got a bruised chin. He was just sore today. Our player of the match was actually Amrani. That is also fair. I still think it should have been Owusu, but I don't hate that it was Amrani. I don't get to see how long David is injured. That's annoying. Didn't move in the world rankings, probably because it was just a drawn win. We have till November for David to heal. But that's only 28 days away. He should be back. I think it's like a 2 to 3 week injury he's taken. So it really just screwed over his club coach. But I don't think it's going to matter too much to international. And the board still won't let me send any coaches anyone on coaching courses, probably because of all the money they've shelled out on the stadium, even with me pulling our finances back into something resembling order. Oh, here we go. Yeah, 12 days to 3 weeks for David's injury. That's not awful. I don't love it, but it's not awful. Safema is back. He might actually break into the squad. We'll have Adam back soon, too. That'll be nice. Senamela is back. getting out of our injury clump. Lacala is getting moved from star player to regular starter, which is way more in line with what I thought he should be. I don't know why the board offered him a star player uh, contract. He was never a star player. He starts a lot of games because I don't have anyone really good at that position, but he's not anything close to a star player. Ideally, I'd like to get him down to just being a squad player. Even a regular starter seems ambitious for what he's providing, but I just don't have anyone better to put in there. So we might as well call him in a regular starter and keep him happy. It's not going to hurt my squad dynamic. Fountain continues to be excellent. And no one's struggling that's training right now, which is nice given that I hurt so many people's morale with the mess this team went through with selling so many players there at a bit and everyone getting mad that we didn't have any depth. We still don't have much depth, but we've been making what we have work. And I think the board's lowered expectations also are really helping us when we were trying to be top of the league with the cut down team. It was really stressful, but now just mid-table finish, everyone feels pretty good about that. Especially since we're exceeding it. Although we are only 6, but that's mostly because we haven't played as many games as our opponents. We've been doing really well when we do play. I don't think we're winning the league this year, but I can see us being top 4 easy. And Safema is hurt again. Never even got into a match. Well, he did, but it was a reserves match. It's only 3 to 4 days, though. He's hurt bad, but he'll be back quick. Oh, we just massacred. Canada's under 20 just massacred Montserrat. That's the sort of thing I was talking about, where we just go out and bully low-ranked Caribbean teams. The reserves bullied United, but I'm not happy because they broke my guy again. We might have him back in time for Chippa. I don't think he's making the team even if he is back because he's still going to be just coming off injury. He's probably not going to be fit enough to play. Got a good win over Richard Bay's under 19s. Oh, Adam's back. So I think we're going to be a little hurting for selections against Chippa, but by wits we should have most of the first team back and ready to go. Everyone who's hurt should be ready to be put into the team without being a huge liability. We're having to play Lacala on the left, which doesn't feel great. Because this is probably pretty close to the lineup we're actually going to name. It's far enough from the international break that everyone should be rested. The issue is if we can get someone in here. Because then we can move Lacala over and take Adam off and get a pretty solid back lineup. But right now we're having to shuffle around to cover the amount of injuries we have at left back. I mean, the fact that Adam is fit at all to play at right back is pretty remarkable, given that he started this save with, well, when I got him, with no ability at all in that position, and I just kept forcing him to play there because I had no one that could actually play. After the Saudis raided my lineup, so having him even show up with a 2-star rating is pretty impressive. I mean, this team's not awful. Matia's below the level we'd like. Adam's actively bad. Mirsavic's bad to be up this forward, but that's another case of covering for injuries and just have to slot someone else in there. And then Saketlong's pretty bad at wing here. So we've got some rough spots, but we've got a lot of good players out there too. And it is just Chippa. Having Sinago out is rough, though. That's the core of all our issues. Mirosavic likes that feedback, which is not going to help him showcase his abilities as me playing him out of position, but he's going to have to deal with that. Who do the under-21s want? Malongo. I'm not playing Malongo. Sure, you can have him. Cut back on my number of defenders. I have 3. Who can I reduce? I can move Adam to support without hurting anything. There we go. Adam's bad at everything in that role. It's not going to matter if he's support or defend. Actually, having him forward up the field might be better. Support might help because it'll keep him from messing up close to the net and getting us in trouble. If I have to play him out of position, I'd rather not have it in a place where one mistake immediately leads to a goal. It hurts watching us just fall down the table and knowing it's simply because we haven't been able to play any games. Like, we're on 5 games played, and games played, everyone else has like 6. Not surprised not many people want to come play with us. We have no money. Senamela is not quite fully fit. Sfema's not quite fully fit. That's what I was worried about. And Adam should be limited to 75 minutes of action because he's coming off that pulled ankle injury ligaments. Adam's probably going to play the entire match. In the heat, great. I don't think I have anyone to put in for Adam, though. I mean, it would be Lacala, and I don't have better to slot in for him. Like, they're recommending no changes, and well, putting Adam on supporting fullbacks knocked him all the way down to 1.5 stars. I don't know if I want him that bad. But moving anyone else around in their positioning to support isn't going to make things better, so I'm just going to have to deal with it. It's the best of a series of bad options. I just need Senamela to come back. Once he's recovered and can slot back in, we can get back to playing like proper defensive players that actually know what they're doing. And probably never playing Adam because I have way more depth at his positions, but it is what it is. I still think this is a very winnable match for us. I'm not too worried. It's Chippa, and we've got good players on the pitch as well. The assistants are recommending a lot of these disappointing players, partially because it's Chippa right now. We want to rest our good players when we can. That was almost a really good open to the match. Here's Savivic keeping things in play, which is good because all the press is on him, but we're immediately offside. And Lacala got another yellow. I don't think that's a suspension-worthy yellow. At least I hope it's not, otherwise I might be playing Adam at right back for another match. Lacala's just been raking in the... Actually, I think that is a suspension, because I think one of those yellows he got was in the cup. So I think that is his third in the Premier League. Oh, Nidlovo barely got that aside. Looks like Nidlovo's taken a real slump lately. He's not been playing that good the last couple of games. This is opposition tactic is the fast way to get this done. So we're actually getting bullied by Chippa right now, which we shouldn't be. We're the better team. Like, they're better this year than they have been, but we are the better team. We should be winning this fairly comfortably. This is actually pretty embarrassing how one-sided this is. I know a certain team that's going to get yelled at the half. And we are 7 shots to 1. Why are we telling them we're happy with their performance? It seems to work, but I'm not happy with that performance. I feel like we should be winning this fairly comfortably. Are we that resigned to being a mid-table team? I suppose we are defending well, given the poor quality of players they have in the back line. Like, this could be going really badly right now. We are still in this match. One late goal and we're up. And I do kind of forget how much worse off our team is this year. I'm still expecting this to be the comfortable first place team. We're just not that this year. big challenge for this year was surviving in the league with our terrible finances, not actually winning. And so I suppose I still need to adjust my expectations, but getting outshot 9-1 is not where this team should be. Alright, let's see if I can bring some life into this match. Aquakwana is playing horrendously. Let's get rid of you and see if Mati Bantwa can make something happen. Of course, he's not great at anything. He's only decent. He's been falling off because I never play him, and he wasn't great to begin with. But let's see if just having fresh legs on the pitch can maybe shock them and get something through on a counterattack. They've spotted my weaknesses. They're pressuring at him. But so far he's doing pretty good. It looked like it was almost going to be an own goal just because he got the ball and ran back towards his own net. Guess the next choice is to get Tunkara off from Nkubi. One of the guys I keep saying we're never going to actually put on the pitch, but we're needing him now. Where are you, Nkubi? There he is. Yeah, we're just making the team worse with these subs, but I'm hoping fresh legs outdoes raw ability. Because we don't have anyone good on the bench right now. It's got to just be people who have energy. I need them to make the mistake. And I need Nidlovo to play well for another 15 minutes. He's gotten his groove back. We're still on that one shot only. Let's see, who else is struggling? People are starting to play pretty good. It looks like Mirsavljevic is actually our worst off, so I'll take him off for Nixele. Still trying to get Nixele into match form, and it's rough because he's not really good enough for the first team. But he can play a bunch of positions off the bench that I need filled. And so I'm just going to try to whip him into form here, and hopefully we don't lose because of it. Like, yeah, he's another 1.5 star player. Like, I just have to deal with that. Hopefully this just gets us enough people that can run through and be fast that we can steal something late. But after how this game went, I'll be alright with a 0-0 draw. Like, if we can get outshot this badly and not lose the game, I've got to count that as pretty good. I clearly overestimated how good our... Oh, and there we go. We just lost. Titani got one through in the last minute, assisted by Moses. And that's partially on me, not that letting the goal in, but the fact that I came in so cocky. Because I've got to remember, we're supposed to be a mid-table team this year. We're not really supposed to be a top-tier team. And I keep still expecting us to show up and play like we're a top-tier team. It was well refereed. Nedlevo was finally beaten after going 266 minutes without conceding. Lacala made his 100th appearance. We weren't that bad there. It was bad luck that they broke through at the end. And I need to remember our place on the table. We were playing the third place team that have just gone up to second. They're better than us, and I'm the one that hasn't adapted to our new reality. Unfortunately, this means that I am now one appearance away from paying Tunkara more money out of that account that I don't have any money in. At least we can close on a high note with Canada bullying the Turks and Caicos Islands under 20s. So next time we're playing, we're going to have a match against Wits that's not much better because they're currently first in the Premier League, so probably going to go about the same as that Chippa one. And then we've got Real Kings to close out the month, and they're all the way down on 14th, so we should be able to get a win there, but Wits is going to be another hang on and hope. It's kind of throwing me because these were bad teams for most of my run. And the fact that they're not now top at the table, like, where are Pirates at? Super Sports United are another. Pirates are in last place. Like, this is such a weird year for me. Pirates are always like the deadly top tier team. It was Pirates. It was Black Leopards are tough. Chiefs were playing tough. Super Sports United. Chippa were always awful. Wits were typically bad. Baroka were terrible. Sundowns were usually top of the league. Highlands Park were terrible. Maritzburg were terrible. Cape Town City were usually top of the league. Tucks weren't even in the league. Stellenbosch were always bullyable. Ezra Polokwane City. But yeah, this is a weird year for the league table, and I need to adjust. I can't come into Chippa being cocky and bringing a weak team because it's Chippa and we always beat them. Because this year, Chippa are not a weak team. This year, the league has had a huge shakeup, and it's on me to adjust to it. So I need to remember, Wits are actually good this year. The only big advantage we have is that they've played one more match than just about everyone else. Which means that they might be tired, but most likely they've got a whole break before that match because it's a week away. We've got the week off, most likely so today, unless they're getting their home on now. But I can't see them being at 8 or 9 matches played when we're at coming into 7 in October. So I think they'll probably have good rest too. So yeah, that's going to be another hang on and hope one, but it should be fun. This big shakeup for the league is actually pretty exciting. It makes this season much more interesting than just the same teams always being good. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next recording. Have a good weekend, everyone.